Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. Another one of these outdoor videos. We got some green in the background this time because people were like, why are you showing me the side of your house? Okay, well here's some green. For today's topic, I want to talk about the perceived Tesla killers and the other EVs that are out there that are coming out with numbers for Q2. And it's really starting to highlight the narrative of what's going on in the EV segment and the EV market, especially in the US, but globally as well. So we got two different sets of numbers coming out that I want to highlight from Porsche and from Lucid, and I'll put up some data here as I talk about them. So data came out that Porsche sold about 1,600 of its Taycan, which is their beautiful, beautiful luxury sedan, EV sedan, performance sedan in the United States, so 1,600. And Lucid sold about 1,400 of their Air in the second quarter globally as well. So Porsche Taycan 1,600 in the US. You could probably double that number for the global number, and then Lucid about 1,400 globally. Now these two cars were thought to be the Tesla killers, the cars that will come through and destroy the Model S, the Tesla Model S and the Model X, because these are cars that are built by companies that know what they're doing, or in the case of Lucid, a company that has very high performance, much better than the Tesla Model S. And they would come in and they would just completely destroy the demand, especially since the Model S has been around since 2012 and it's old and it's probably going to be slower and worse and not as good quality, so on and so forth, right? But now we're starting to get really good data that shows that regardless of how long a car has been out on the market for, let's say, a Tesla vehicle, it's clear that those cars have a long staying power, number one. And number two, the willingness for people to buy EVs that are non-Teslas also appears to be much, much smaller than, let's say, the folks on the side that say Tesla's not going to be successful. Those buyers are a lot less than people thought, or at least this is my opinion based on the data set, right? And so if you really take this data point of, let's say, the Porsche Taycan. Porsche is a brand that has been around for a long, long time. I'm personally a big fan of Porsche vehicles. They look beautiful, honestly. Some of the best looking cars in the world. And they have a big pedigree of performance. You know, they're in all kinds of racing series, and that they're luxurious, very well built cars. And the Taycan, which is that performance car, is not selling that much. 1,600 units in the US. The Model S from Tesla sold about 20,000 units in the second quarter of 2023 globally. So even if we doubled the Porsche number to say 3,000 globally in the second quarter, Tesla is selling at a rate of what, 8 times more or 7 times more than the Porsche Taycan. And again, this is a model that's significantly older than that one. And then push this forward or push this downward the cost curve and look at some of the data points that we covered yesterday on 2 days ago video talking about the lower price markets. So the Mach-E, the EV6, the Ioniq 5, you see the same exact trend with those cars as well. So the luxury brands are not performing nearly as well versus Tesla, and the, let's say, the more entry-level brands or the every man every woman car brands are also not performing as well as Tesla by the same multiples. The Mach-E is selling a fraction of the Model Y, same thing for the Ioniq 6, so on and so forth. And the Porsche and the Lucid and all these brands, same exact thing versus the Model S. So I think that we now have a very clear picture, in my opinion, that shows that regardless of what market, regardless of what area Tesla's looking to play in, their cars are performing significantly better than their peers. And even in China, where you have a lot more EV competition, Tesla has the best-selling electric vehicles by far in that country, pure electric vehicles. What's important here to note is that brands like BYD, that very commonly are said to be, oh, they're outselling Tesla like crazy, they're performing so well, and they are. But from a total car perspective, BYD sells both gas cars, all gas cars, hybrids, and electric vehicles. Tesla's still selling a lot more electric vehicles than a BYD. However, a lot more competitively in that market, but Tesla's still outperforming. So what's going to happen when the Cybertruck comes out, right? Let's think through that for a second. So when the Cybertruck comes out, if I take the trend of what's happening in the EV space for Teslas versus everybody else. And then you start moving down the timeline of saying, okay, as we transition away from gas cars into electric vehicles, what's the performance going to look like for, say, a Tesla versus a competitor? And the lineup that we have so far, unless a brand new player comes across, or a existing automaker comes out with such a game-changing product that it will actually challenge Tesla, it seems like that level of disparity is going to continue, in my opinion, where the Cybertruck is going to be selling significantly more than people think, and the competitors are going to be selling significantly less than people think. I would love to hear in the comment section below if you think there is a dynamic going on where when people buy an electric vehicle, they don't really, they're not as, oh, it's a car, it's great looking, blah, 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 I'm going to buy that car. They're actually doing their research and they're saying, okay, so Tesla seems like they know what they're doing. Tesla is the automaker that's been doing this for a really long time. So we're going to buy that car. I would love to hear your thoughts on that and see if that's a legitimate dynamic going on. I've read some of your comments and I've heard some people say, I know people or myself, I bought a Tesla or a Tesla EV because I knew it was their brand and I didn't really trust the other brands because they haven't been doing it as long as Tesla has. So I wonder if that dynamic is going on. And if that dynamic continues, then this paints a really strange picture where electric vehicles are going to be the majority of electric vehicles are going to be sold by Tesla, and it's going to have this Apple dynamic where all of a sudden you had this thing where the iPhone came out and barely anybody had it, and by the time the iPhone 4 came out, I believe back in 2011, 2012, I saw this with my own two eyes, everybody had a freaking iPhone. So I wonder if the Tesla is going to have the same dynamic. The other key thing here that we should really talk about is that when you think about what EVs are going to be available to be purchased in the next, say, 3 to 5 years, from a scale perspective, just purely how many cars can a manufacturer make, Tesla is the only one that's positioned to create millions of them per year into the decade, whereas everybody else seems to be at a much smaller scale. And given their projected ramp-ups and how their EVs are performing in the market today, I think it's not unconceivable to say that Tesla is going to be the only one, or one of the very few ones, maybe outside of BYD and one other player, that's going to be able to manufacture millions of EVs per year, especially with the introduction of the Cybertruck and their much rumored compact car in the next couple of years. And so even if you're somebody who wants to buy an EV, period, we might have a dynamic where the only company you can buy an EV from is going to be Tesla, because no one else can make them. It's so crazy. It really is so crazy. There is a lot of options now. There are truly a lot of options. It's just people are bypassing a lot of those options and going with the one brand that a lot of you, the reason why you watch this channel is, we all know which brand that is. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Just something I've been tracking, as I continually think about how the EV market's going to end up. The data is just very clear at this point, I believe. It's very, very clear. And it seems like, and I mentioned this on my other one, unless something drastic happens, the momentum is too great. And then you layer on top of that what the EV tax credit has done in the United States for EV demand, and the one that seems to be benefiting from that tremendously is Tesla. Then you compound this effect in the next few years with the introduction of the Mexico factory, the India factory, which is being heavily rumored now. I'll post up some links here from Sawyer's Twitter that kind of talks about some of the rumors that are going on. It looks like there's talks about this thing having 500,000 capacity and localization of supply chains and raw materials, and kind of working with the Indian government to make this happen. Before long, by 2025, 2026, Tesla could be at 10 million unit capacity with all these factories being fully built out and Berlin being expanded. And then you really get into a point where it's the disparity between who can make EVs becomes very, very clear. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know if I'm going up the wrong tree here as I'm thinking about this dynamic. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a like so the YouTube algorithm can show this to more people. And if you want to support the channel, I have merch in the description below, as well as a link to AG1, Athletic Greens. I have a coupon for that for free travel packs and vitamin D with your purchase. So yeah, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And yeah, here's a little bit more of that green. and the sky, beautiful. It's a little humid today, but it's okay. I still love the outdoors. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.